Welcome to the eighth module of Applied Linguistics of the E-Pathshala program of the UGC in Linguistics. If you remember, in the seventh module, I briefly talked about the whole issue of disability, and of children with disability in the context of language. And we did say that all those who are dismissed as persons with disability or differently, they're very fashionable terms which want to hide the fact that there are people who are different, who are different from us. That's all. Otherwise, so far language is concerned, they have the same potential that we have. Okay. So as being human beings, they are same as we are. The first thing I want to say is that there are a large number of people, actually not a very large number of people, there are some people who are working very intensively on the issues of disability and inclusion, and what kind of world we have created and what should be done and what cannot be done. I would urge all of you to get in touch with people like Dr. Tanmay Bhattacharya of the Department of Linguistics at University of Delhi, or Dr. Anita Ghai, or Vikas at the History Department of Delhi University, Dipen Manocha. There are some people who are absolutely outstanding to talk about the issues around disability. I would certainly urge you to read Dr. Bhattacharya's article in the EPW and various other articles he has written. In fact, a lot of my understanding I owe to all these people about the issue of disability. We need to appreciate, first of all, the fact that none of us is sort of able as opposed to disabled. I mean, please think about this very carefully. All of us become children and we need help. And we need help till the time we are 5, 6 years, 7 years old. We need help. No other animal takes so long to be on its own. Dogs and cats are on their own on the first day. We take such a long time and we need help. In old age, we need help. In pregnancy, we need help. When we are sick, we need help. We all need each other. We have some kind of disability or the other as we'll become. So, in spite of this fact, the unfortunate thing is that we have created a world in the image of the normate, in the image of an ideal human being who actually doesn't exist. The whole world is created in such a way, I mean the buildings, the offices, the schools, colleges, parliaments, you name it. Any buses, trains, taxis, everything is created in such a way so that a small section of people who are otherwise as human, intellectually, cognitively, linguistically, as competent as any one of us are, they are excluded. Right from the beginning, they are discriminated against, they are humiliated, and they are excluded from the mainstream society, because the mainstream society has been constructed in the world in the image of the normate. So I think that's the this persistent and deliberate exclusion of minorities and persons with various kinds of disabilities, this must finish. Our whole focus is to do things which will make the visual, hearing, and orthopedically impaired people look different. We will have special schools for them. Special schools are like sanatoriums or like, asylums for mad people, or prisons. All these things were created to exclude people. And we want to push the so-called disabled into the same category, and I think this is very, very unfortunate. So we need to conceptualize a different kind of world in all possible dimensions: physical, emotional, attitudinally, educationally, employment-wise. We need to conceptualize a world which is different. We should think of a classroom which can serve the needs not only of the sighted but of the visually impaired, not only of the visually impaired but of the orthopedically impaired, not only of them but also of those who cannot hear, unfortunately, or listen, because they can do all those things in sign language. They can do a lot of things on computers now. Technology has become a big helping hand to all kinds of people with all kinds of assistive devices. So we can, I think, now is the time to throw away our normatively constituted world. We need to construct a world, and we can, if we want, which will treat all human beings equal in an inclusive way. They are part of us. We need to do that, and we can. So I think an inclusive society in this, we don't need to show them charity. They don't want our pity. You must see some blind person or some visually impaired person or some hearing impaired person. They hate to be helped. They hate that they are pitied. We don't need them to be medically treated because there is no treatment. We don't want medical perspectives, or we don't have to fight for their rights. We have to create a world where they feel a part of it. Let me give you one sort of very brief, simple example. Why should we at all have toilets which are not disabled friendly? Everybody can use it. So every toilet should be like the one in which a wheelchair can go, a blind person can go, a hearing impaired person can go, a pregnant woman, anyone can go, an old person can use. He needs bars. By the time we grow old, and you grow old like me, you will need bars to hold on to. Or if your knees break down, everybody knees start hurting or back starts hurting. We all need help. So I think we need to rethink this whole question of disability, and in terms of language, because this is a applied linguistics course. So I want to sort of bring these together. If you look at language as such, you will find that all human languages in general are full of coding of disability which is insulting to the disabled. For example, there will be sayings, there will be wisecracks, there will be various kinds of maxims and proverbs and idioms which will make fun of disability or which will mock at disability. You will say, "Andho mein kana raja." You see, I think what could be, this is a linguistic coding of disability. Punjabi has very interesting, "Rab malai jodi, ek anna te ek kodi." People say this very nicely, a lot of fun, without realizing that if the same thing could be said about their own sons and daughters who are not disabled. We need to rethink the whole issue. And I think these insulting proverbs, we need to rethink about them. And we need to create spaces in our classrooms, in our education system, in our language classroom. Because language, as I'll show you later, there are many disabilities which are particularly language oriented. For example, hearing impaired is sort of specially focused on language. And I don't think what percentage of people even realize that sign language is like English or Hindi or Punjabi or Gujarati or Marathi or French or German. That people who talk in sign language, they talk about fairly abstract things. They talk in sign language. There's nothing wrong in that. It's just that it's different. I don't understand French, so therefore I don't think myself or the French people disabled. But we do think that the hearing impaired are disabled because we have the image of the normate. So we need to create spaces for subversive dialogue in our classrooms. And I think before anything else, it is the business of the language teacher or the literature teacher, people who deal with language. Then of course, all the teachers, because all of them do things through language. They have no other way of doing things. You would be surprised that a large population of disabled people in the world remains outside the mainstream. At least, 50% of those whom we classify as disabled in the world receive no education, they have no employment, they just stay more or less wasted. Sometimes maybe tremendous talent is being wasted because they are out. Our Constitution, Article 41 of the Constitution, it says within the limits of its economic capacity and development, within the limits. I don't know about how many things. I mean, this should apply to the whole Constitution. You can do only, but it is specially written in the case of minorities and people on the margins. They will make effective provision for securing the right to work, to education and to public assistance in cases of unemployment, old age, sickness and disablement. So you see the category: old age, sickness and development, and in other cases of undeserved want. So that is all the government's commitment is. The commitment of the Constitution should be that we will make the whole world such a place that everybody feels a part of the world, right? That we must insist on inclusion rather than making a provision which says we will do only this much. Even that is not done. So there are large number of provisions. There is an act, which is for disabled persons, which makes many promises. Not much have been done. And the National Sample Survey of 2002 shows that 50% of the disabled population is either illiterate or 35%, and 35% are, only 34% are employed. I would suggest that it is our business to make Braille and sign language compulsory subjects as compulsory languages, at least an introduction to these of the school curriculum. People should know Braille, people should know sign language so they can talk to deaf and dumb people. There are various kinds of language disorders, which only make people with those disabilities look like medical cases. There are sort of separate medical units for them. All of us suffer from, for example, dyslexia. All of us have dyslexia to some degree. All of us have, spelling problems to some degree. Many times, something like, let us say, I would spell hood as cloud. Anybody can do that. Or silent as listen. This misplacement of slips of the tongue and or what is known as the bathtub effect, where you remember only the beginnings and ends of the words and the middle is forgotten. Very common. So all of us have such problems, but people who cannot calculate properly, said to suffer from dyscalculia and dysgraphia. Then there are problems of auditory processing disorder, dyslexia, language proficiency disorder, processing disorder, that you can't process language. And very common these days is attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. It is very popular, particularly in the West today, that you have attention. Everybody can run into attention deficit. Some children have it more. Everybody becomes hyperactive, but some children have it more. I am not saying that we should not pay attention to these, but to pay attention to these with the awareness that it can happen to anyone, that all of us are a party to it, is quite different. So there is the visual motor deficit order, where you don't have coordinated muscles. Yes, that's a serious problem, but Anybody can have that. Motor skills coordinating, in writing, when you can't put together the visual thing, or you can't put together the motor skills, you can't put your hands together to write properly. And ADHD, what I said, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, which makes it hard for children to focus and is associated with hyperactivity. I mean, this is really so. To conclude this module, I would say that all of us need each other in this world. We are all able or disabled in some sense or the other, and we need to be very sensitive to this. And I think there is linguistically, cognitively, socially, politically, we need to create a very different world where language can play a very important role, because language is central. Sign language is central. Braille is central. And I would include diversity of languages, many of which get stigmatized in this world, because they are different. They are not standard accent, or they are not standard pronunciation, or for whatever reasons. I think language and the platform and the sites that language create are extremely important. I hope if you have heard this carefully, you will begin to think about disability in a very different way and try to at least dream of a different kind of world. Thank you very much.